welcome to episode 5. This is season 9 of the Foyne Jones Show. This season we're building on success, and we are joined. We've got a special guest in the studio. He's made his way over from the Garden of England, Rochester, Kent. Carl, welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having us, Peter.
All right, mate. Well, I mean, we've been chatting away downstairs. We've already done the podcast, so we're just gonna come up here and do a bit of admin, Charlie. If that's all right, mate. Do you know what I mean? If you had, we had the previous guest, the new guest. We've been talking about the industry and everything, and today we're going to learn a little bit more about your story, Cole. We're going to get to know you away from work. So we might be talking football, we might be talking boxing, we might be talking what you get up to. The builders merchant landscape's changing, so you're going to give us your side of it. Football, we're going to talk about a team that's very close to your heart. Charlotte, our head of content's got a quick fire quiz. We're going to talk about your dream dinner guests, and we're going to let you close the show up with a message to the industry and just kind of bringing things into reality. But Charlie Hooler, you ready to go?
Yes, mate, all set over here.
Are you going to mention the Fulham result? Do we get it out of the way?
No,
or?
mate, I'm not like that. You know.
I mean, it was proper old school 1-0 to the Arsenal. You grinded that result out, mate.
It was a hard-fought win. You guys put up a very good game.
In Cole's world, we might have fought a good fight, but we could still be playing now, almost 6 days later, and probably wouldn't have scored.
Well,
so
you've got to keep on plugging away, ain't you? That's the name of the game.
Mate, when you're Fulham, mate, you've got to be resilient. You've got to be resilient. So, Cole, just for the benefit of the listeners, the people who may not know who you are, and I don't imagine there's many people who don't know who you are, just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself, mate.
Yeah, so my name's Cole Mattu. I'm Managing Director of Payless Builders Merchants. We're based down in Rochester in Kent. So we're a heavy side builders merchants. We do a bit of everything, really. We've built the business up to sort of, I like to call it a one-stop shop for builders. So there's a lot of merchants who just specialise, mainly on heavy side, but we do everything from bricks, blocks, timber, plasterboard, insulation, light side as well in the shop as well. We sit in a lovely site in Rochester, about 1.5 acres. We've got 6 HGVs and a little tipper truck running around every day. And that's what we do. An independent from the top to the bottom. That's what we are.
And there is a fierce independence that comes through. Like I've been lucky enough to meet you guys. I've been to the site and I've got to know the people there, and it's busy, it's lively, it's trading, it's going on.
We've always tried to. One thing we've got with ours, we've always built up a good rapport with our customers from our early days, from where we started.
When did it start, Carl?
So we've been going about 17 years now. Wow. And funny enough, we started in a little DIY and hardware shop. So,
did you?
That's where we started. So my father's always been in the industry. We used to have a DIY shop which turned into sort of a small builders merchants when I was young. It's definitely in my blood anyway, and we were brought up in a DIY shop, hardware, cutting glass, cutting bits of timber, sweeping sawdust. The old man used to walk around with his brown arkwright coat on. So it was them days. We didn't have like loads of forklifts and mechanical vehicles then when the old man started, so everything was handball. So brought up on hard work and spit and sawdust, as they say.
Skirting board ladders and Scotch paint.
Yeah, my dad retired out of it, of that business. That business is still going. My dad's partners carried that on, and then we come out of it. We've always been business people in the family, so we've had the DIY shop, the builders merchants. Then we went on and done a post office off licence. My brother's got a fish and chip shop. So after that, my dad had businesses abroad and stuff as well.
So 17 years ago it began, but your family was involved in so many different things. From a hardware shop, that's mental, mate.
From a hardware shop,
So proper open all hours.
Open all hours, and then so when we come out of that, Dad sold that to his business partner. They're still actually, the business is still there. Then we went away.
Where was the hardware shop?
In Rochester in Kent as well.
Fair play, mate. So same manner.
So when you come down, we're literally down the road. Literally down the road. So then we went away. We done other businesses. I always wanted to do my own thing. I've always been one of them people that I want to go out and do. I'm a bit stubborn like that. I want to do
Charlie,
my own
these
thing.
are the guests these are the guests we like on the show, right? Because the thing is, Cole, there is so many people listening to this who have been in your situation 7 years ago where they want to do this and they're passionate about doing this. but they won't.
Yeah.
And you've got that option in life, haven't you, to stick or twist. And 90% of people stick.
Yep.
But you're in that 10% of people that didn't. So,
well, yeah. I mean, I think there's always been something inside of me that I've always wanted to sort of work for myself, you know, and I've never been really scared of hard work. Hard work don't faze me. So, you know, I've got no secret formula. I've got no secret.
Oh, well, you got to go there. You can't share the secret sauce. We don't want you in the studio.
I've got no silver spoon. So, you know, after coming out of that, I went and done my own thing. I worked on building sites. I've done even cleaning, like we've done industrial cleaning, all sorts of stuff. I've done that, and then sort of it was getting to that stage of, you know, we were just. You know, I was at that age where I only had myself to keep, so it'd just be work, go out at the weekends with my mates, or go on holiday abroad. And then when my brother's fish and chip shop is, it's on a sort of a busy parade again, not too far away from where you come to see us.
Yeah.
And my brother goes, look, the old boy next door, he wants to sell. You know, he's coming to retirement. You know. Have a little look at it. We think it'll be good. It'd been run down quite a bit because the old boy who had it run, he wasn't very well. His health was sort of deteriorating a little bit. So it was like proper cobwebs and like all sorts run down. There wasn't a lot of stock in there. We asked a lot of the regular customers who come in the chippy, like, you know, would you know, what's the crack with next door? And they're like, look, we love going in there. They're gone, he's just like, he's not open because he's not well.
So your business planning was the fish and chip shop?
No, that was my brother's. So I didn't really have a business plan. My brother was like, look, you're sort of working there, then you're working there, then you're working there. These shops come available. Give it a bash. I'll help you. So my business partner Ram, who you've met anyway, we've been mates from young.
But do you know, like you talk about like your brother and your business partner, like when I was there, like Charlie, you got a bit of like the chemistry and the banter these boys were having. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like a meeting. It was just like we say, it's like being down a cafe or being down a pub.
We normally conduct business like that. To be fair, I'm quite lucky. So yeah, that shop come along, and then my brother goes, look, give it a punt. Me and Ram, you know, we'd been working, like I said to you, you know, on all sorts of different jobs, and I said to him, look, these shops come up. You know, what should we do? Obviously, we were getting older and stuff like that as well. So we were like, you know what we've got to lose. So, you know, we took the lease over, took the shop over. It was really, really dated. So went in there, gave it a modern twist, cleaned it up, new shelving, put some stock into it. You know, we knew what we were sort of doing. We still had sort of contacts from when we used to have the old shop and stuff. So yeah, we just turned it into like a nice, clean, modern kind of looking hardware shop. Had a double garage on the back of the hardware shop, and
here we go. Here comes the product.
Yeah, that's it. We started getting people coming in, and they started asking for, oh, you know what, we need a sheet of ply, or we need a bit of plasterboard, or we need a little bit of this. So I just started sticking a bit of plasterboard in the back. We started sticking a bit of timber in the back, a few bags of cement, a few bags of sand. That's how it started. We had a lot of contacts in there. There was a couple of local merchants who we knew really, really well. So we just started going down there and saying to them, look after us, we're going to pick up stuff. I brought a little 3.5 ton tipper truck. And back then, the ton bags had just sort of started coming out. That, you know, there was still a lot of customers would have it tipped up loose. So yeah, then we started going up to the quarry, picking the sand up and dropping it off to customers, along with delivering a bit of timber, a bit of ply. Then one of my good mates opened up a sort of builders merchants up in Gravesend, and then I brought sort of a little 7.5 ton lorry, because we started getting asked for like more bricks and blocks and stuff like that. Sort of took a little driver on, and we started running down, picking stuff up from
But I can see how that happens though, like because like the customers are building into you, and you're building that relationship with you. It'll be like, Cole, can you get us out? And actually, I need that. And you know, you're an actual salesman, so you're going to say yes, aren't you? And then figure it out.
Yeah, listen, it was, you know, I'd be lying to say it was anything of any volume, but for us with the hardware shop, it was a nice little, you know, another little income stream. And you know, we started keeping people happy. You know, they wanted 4 or 5 ton bags on a Saturday morning, or you know, they wanted a couple of ton bags, or they wanted a pack, you know, a pack of blocks or something like that. So it sort of stemmed from there, and then we sort of see the gap in the market, because where we were in the DIY shop was in Lordswood, which is just another little area just around the corner from us, and we saw a bit of a gap in the market. A lot of people were going, look, there's no one really around here. We have to run up to sort of 15 minutes away, or 10 minutes, 15 minutes the other way to go and pick stuff up. So then we sort of see a gap in the market. Just up the road from the shop was a little industrial estate. It's sort of a bit of a smaller industrial estate to the one that we're on, and a little unit and a little yard come available there. So we sort of took the plunge, and Payless was sort of born from there, really. So we went up there. We brought a bigger sort of 18-ton lorry. It was a smaller unit with a yard, and then we just started buying in stuff as much as we could direct. went from there, and even there, to be honest with you, we outgrew it in about a year to 18 months, really. The recession kicked in sort of about a year to 18 months after we took the unit and yard on, and there was another local merchant who was in the premises that we was in, and unfortunately, due to the recession, they went into administration. Then we got offered that yard where you come and see us, and we moved up there. We had 3/4 of the site sort of going that way. The corner site wasn't ours when we originally took it over. There was an installation company in there. After sort of 3 or 4 years of being up there, they got brought out by a bigger company. I won't mention no names, and they just sort of stripped the company out.
But you don't talk about that recession, like, so I know exactly the period of time you're talking, mate, because they were tough times. They were like. So I'll be, when the clock goes to January, I'll be 22 years into my business, and that recession you're talking about, like hit us so hard. Yeah, you know, it hit us so hard, and I've still got the scars from that now. So, but you've actually done something quite the other way. You're expanding during it.
We actually thrived in that recession. I've got no idea how we done it. I think we were probably young, fresh. I was quite hungry. Them days, I wasn't, Cole Mattu, the MD who sits in the office in front of the computer. I was delivery driver, forklift driver. You name it. I'd go out after we'd shut the yard at 5:30 and still go and do 2-3 deliveries to keep my customers happy. And one of the things I suppose I'm really, really proud of, I've still got a lot of my original customers who were with me from the DIY shop up to sort of Payless where I am now. And that's one thing I'm really, really sort of proud of, that we've managed to sort of keep them customers, and they still use us. And a lot of them are classed as friends. We'll have banter. If the football especially, it'll be like you're shite. But we've got a real good banter. And one thing I would say about our place, which probably we have got a lot of banter with our customers, and they come in and we treat them like friends, and we've got a business to run and they've got businesses to run, but I think that is it's a bit of that's probably our USP, that little bit of speciality there.
But again, it comes back to the independent culture. It comes back to that power of personality. If you travel around your competitors, if you travel around lots of other businesses, they can be dangerously short of personality. And personality is not about having banter all the time. It's eye contact, it's a smile, it's just being proactive.
100%.
We know that in any environment you go into, Charlie, same as you, Charlie. It's that difference between actually feeling welcome and not.
Oh, 100%. And it's probably a culture that we've not sort of cultivated or anything like that, but it's come naturally from us, and I love to have a laugh and a joke with all of my staff. I don't like to be that. I've got an open door policy. I always say to all of my staff, even though we've got a branch manager and all the rest of it, my door is always open. We've had a few new starters start over the last couple of weeks, and the first thing I've done is when I've come in is I'll go and get the new boy or go and get the new guy, because I want to sit down and have a chat with them and have a little bit of a laugh. And I suppose if we have that, it follows through from our counter sales guys, our yard staff, our drivers. They're really, really important, because without them, they're not the ones who are engaging with our customers, and they're not the ones who are having that banter with the customers. And it's something that, and I do love it sometimes. I walk in the morning and I walk past the shop and I'll hear them all having a laugh and joke and telling each other to piss off, because of the football results, or whatever it is, and I miss being on the counter. That's one of the things I actually quite miss.
That was my favourite. I love being a rep. I loved all my jobs in merchanting, but I think I was, because I grew up in the market. I'll tell the story time, because I grew up in Grandad's Fruit and Veg store in Fulham. I was used to being like that thing. So the counter for me, trade counter Fulham, that was all right, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I can imagine it must have been.
But it's those same relationships, it's those same banter. But that was in the days when the trade counter, even though I worked for a national brand, that was in the days, Cole, when the trade counter was literally like a porter cabin in a fenced off yard. I mean, it's all Imperial Wharf, Chelsea Creek, and all that now. It's not the same site as it was.
I mean, trade counters. Some of the if you look at it, some of the modern merchants now, their trade counters are phenomenal. They're like a working space now, almost like an innovation kind of thing. And it is nice, but I wouldn't say ours is old fashioned with a bit of dust and dirt sprinkled in, but you know,
it works for you, mate. Yeah. And one of the things that's come through is that, you know, the independent culture is so powerful for everything you do, and relationships are part of that, aren't they?
It's a big part of it. I mean, without the relationship with the customer doesn't feel that they're part of anything. And you know, not being funny, these days they can walk into a multitude of places to buy their materials. We are actually in quite a heavy populated merchant area. Normally, if you look up and down the country, if you take an area, you'll have one good, like, strong independent, then you'll have your national sprinkled in, and then you'll have your Wickses and your B&Qs, and you know, Selcos now are, you know, in most towns. So, but Rochester, where we are, Medway Towns, we've actually got, and it makes us actually excel, I think, and be at the top of your game all the time. We've got myself, and we've got another couple of other independents who are just as good as us, you know. So, you know, we have to make sure that our customer service and everything that we're doing is at the top of its game. And I don't think there's no secret to it, you know. We're not. I'm not saying here that we're setting the world on fire and doing anything different, but we are. I pride myself on being professional, being honest, being upfront with the customer. If we can do something, say you can do it. If you can't do it, just say you can't do it. And you know, that's our core values.
Sounds to me though like you're really like doing the right thing, but you're staying in your own lane as well. You're worrying about what you can control.
That is
and
the
what
only
you
thing.
can deliver.
We can't control what others are going to do, but I think we do, and my team as well. I think we do a fantastic job, an exceptional job. And yeah, shout out to my team, all the boys. All the boys at Payless.
They'll be listeners to the podcast now, mate, won't we?
And all the ladies as well in the office, because I'll get shot otherwise.
Absolute quality, mate. Absolute quality. So, listen. Love the passion, first of all, and I think what our industry needs, it needs more passion, more personality. It needs to celebrate this. But you're working really hard within the industry anyway to keep that going. From your side, mate, what's the biggest challenge like in today's market now? What's the biggest challenge for you?
Look. I don't like too much emphasis on doom and gloom, because I try and remain as positive as possible, because again, just similar to what you said, you have to sort of worry about what you're doing. Look,
but we're talking business owner to business owner.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, listen, look, we're in. It's not the greatest of times to be in business. You know, I'm not going to go too political, because I'm not an overly political person. But there's always we're living in a big country in England. You know, we are one of the major countries in the world, and you know, we have government and we have people in charge. But you know, I think the business owners, as a business owner at the moment, we are being hit very, very hard, very, very unfairly, I think, in some things. But, you know, we're getting hit hard with costs which are totally out of our control. Margins are always an issue in these kind of times as well, because everybody's, as business declines in any sector, everyone's got their market share. Everyone's vying for the same business. So, yeah, margins and, you know, just the climate at the moment is not easy. But we have to sort of batten down the hatches, and we have to sort of streamline our processes. Yeah.
And it is, and I don't let this podcast get political. I think it isn't, but I can talk from a recruitment business owner's perspective. Following some of the policies by the government, you know, people lost their jobs.
Yes.
You know, redundancies took place. Right, boom, that happened straight away. Yep. Also, what I saw was the other side of that, where people that were planning to hire, were talking about making hires, were looking at expanding, put that on hold. Closed it down.
Of course.
And that's all relative, because actually we have to be looking at the future of the industry. We have to be looking at the people coming in right now. And look at, if you go back at the beginning, like 17 years ago when you started trading, they were your challenges.
Yep.
You look at the challenges right now, some of them are the same. You know, they are the same. Are we going to build enough houses? Is it going to happen? Where is it going to come from? And actually right now, going back to relationships and service, it can transcend it, can't it?
Of course it can. You know, and that's what it is. That, you know, we'll try and you can, if you wanted to go and buy a bottle of water, let's just say, for instance, there's a bottle of water there. If you really wanted to shop about, of course you can go and get that bottle of water cheaper somewhere else. But it's like, how much time have you got to, and resource have you got into trying to get that bottle of water cheaper? How much are you actually going to save? do you need that bottle of water delivered? If you do need that bottle of water delivered, what's your timescale? There's a lot of factors that go into it, and sometimes we probably don't get, not like I want a pat on the back, but we probably don't get enough praise for the service that we actually offer our clients, because I think like anything,
but the builder's merchant customer forgets the 99 things that went right, mate, didn't they? They forget them,
and that's not sort
it's
of
how you
like,
react to the one thing that goes wrong that
exactly
they never
what it
forget.
Is. And I always liken it, because people say to me, I'll say our industry now, especially the merchant industry, it's a very service-based industry, and that's what people don't realise. It's almost like being front of house at a restaurant, and people are like, no, it's not. I'm like, it is, because you that customer comes in, you welcome that customer. You sit them down, you offer them a service, and our service is they want to buy materials, they need their materials delivered to site as quick as possible. But there's a lot from taking that order to getting it to site, what goes on, which I don't understand.
The biggest thing I think in merchant customer service, and they don't coach this enough, is how you make someone feel.
Oh yes,
it's how you make them feel.
Yeah.
Like, do they actually want to? Are they ringing you because they've got an account?
Yeah.
They can't not. They have to deal with you anyway.
Yeah. They're
doing it by default. That's very transactional, right? But if someone actually enjoys working with you, enjoys dealing with you, whether it's you as the MD, whether it's the fella in the yard, the counter, the person who's on the blower, if you make them feel valued, you're going to retain that.
100%. And look, loyalty is one thing that we try and encourage, and we have got a lot of loyal customers as well who will only come to us. But again, going back to when times are tough, we've got a business to run, and ultimately our customers have got a business to run as well. And when they're having to sort of lower prices, and they're getting battered down by their customers, it's a bit of a circle. When we understand sometimes, and no different to us. Look, I'm a full-time, shopping around, trying to get the best, deals, making sure that our prices are on point, and making sure that we can offer our customers the best prices. This year, we've actually upped our game massively on quality, because I wanted to be a little bit different as well. When there's a lot of cheap products on the market, but are they the right product for the customer? So we really stand on our laurels with providing, the best quality products we can at a competitive price. We've really upped our game this year. We've put a lot of new suppliers in. We've cleansed a lot of old suppliers out, and we've really pushed on quality, and it's worked really well. We've had a lot of positive feedback from our customers on new products and new lines and stuff like that.
Perfect.
So that's really worked well. But again, sometimes people don't understand it.
I'll tell you what we do though, mate. We're in the second half of the show. We will talk about what the future looks like, and we'll talk about a little bit that you're doing for the industry away from Payless as well, because you're heavily involved. We will also, after the break, we'll get Charlotte involved with her quiz, because we cannot leave her out, because she's the brains behind the production, and we'll be talking a little bit of football and who you'd have round for dinner, mate.
No problem.
Charlie, we'll see him after the break. How's that?
When it comes to bricks, there's only one company to speak with. ET Clay have something for every brick project. With over 400 products across our 2 depots, we are the builder's merchant, brick merchant.
Okay, welcome back to episode 5 of season 9 of the Foyne Jones Show. We're building on success, and Cole has brilliantly taken us through 17 years of building on success, from a fish and chip shop and a hardware store to a multi-purpose, fantastic site in Rochester, right next door to the airport, mate. But Cole, do me a favour, don't park in the yard, yeah?
No, we're not allowed.
That's what he said to me. Jonesy, park up the road and walk in. I'm like, all right, mate, no problem.
Like Peter's going to come, and it's going to be we need the customers in, mate. We don't need you taking up my car parking spaces.
We want to see you, but don't get one of my parking spaces.
You're not spending nothing a day, so you can park up the road.
I'm actually costing him money if I walk in there.
Yeah, you did actually.
There we go. Anyway, listen, let's say thank you to our wonderful sponsors, ETK Products. If it wasn't for David Blitz and that business, we wouldn't have a podcast. We wouldn't have a studio. You'd still be in Rochester, not in Sussex by the sea, mate.
Shout out to David.
You know David anyway, didn't you, mate?
He's a good man. So
I've never met anyone who loves bricks as much as that man?
Yeah, I think he...
Charlie, you've met his bricks. we went to the site, mate.
He's a brick man.
Charlie really struggled to get excited about that lump of clay, didn't you? He was really struggling with it, wasn't you? Dave was like, look at this one, Charlie, look at this one. Charlie's like, OK, I'll film it. Anyway, right, Charlotte, this is your moment. Over to you. The floor is yours.
Welcome back to Charlotte's Quickfire Quiz. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to ask you a few questions.
No problem.
Very simple. So the first question is, what makes your business, Payless, different from everyone else in the industry?
Oh, you've got me with that one. That's
a big one.
It's not a big one. Listen, look, I think we're a good old-fashioned independent, and I would say our service and our care to the customers is one thing that we pride ourselves on. That independent touch of listening to what the client wants and trying to sort of give them the best customer service that we can from the moment they walk into the counter to the goods getting delivered to them, or them walking out and collecting the goods. That's what I would try and say is that, and I think we do an exceptional job at that.
Yeah, lovely. Second question is, what is one of your hobbies that you do outside of your business?
So when I was younger, not so much now because I'm getting old and creaking. I used to play football, but not at any good level because I was never really that good at it. But
still fun.
Still fun. I used to do that. But
Charlotte's a good footballer.
I
played for my team at university.
In my head, I was good, but I'm not. But no, boxing. I used to do a lot of boxing when I was young, as a youngster. So yeah, I'm really proud of that. Done the amateurs, the ABA, and box for Kent as well, so something I'm really proud of. I still do a little bit, just as in keep fit stuff, but I regularly do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so BJJ in short, so that's like a form of grappling. My son's been doing it as well since he's 5 years old. He goes out and used to compete, not so much now, and he's won like loads of medals and stuff as well. I do it with a good friend of mine who I used to box with, and after boxing he got into Jiu-Jitsu. He's a black belt, and he's got his own little gym. It's like a good family. So shout out to Live 13 and Coach Rambo, my brother.
There we go.
So yeah, we go there, and it's really good. It helps me de-stress. It's a great sport. I'm not very good at it, but it's a sport.
It's fun.
You're always evolving. It's about getting sort of beaten up and going back and sort of getting better. It's a real great sport for your mind and your discipline in your body, and something actually I didn't think I'd enjoy as much. I've been doing it sort of about coming up 4 years now.
Charlie will have a grapple with you on the way out, mate, if you want.
I'm only a blue belt, so hopefully one day I'll carry on moving up through the ranks, but it's really enjoyable, and like I said, we've got a great bunch of lads down the gym.
Good couple of questions, Charlotte.
Yeah. Doing quite well, to be fair. Yeah. So the third question is, how would you describe Payless in 3 words?
3 words?
Oh. He looked at me.
It doesn't have to be a sentence. It can just be 3 individual words.
I would say... I'd say fantastic.
Yeah, nice. Love that word.
Customer service. I know if you want to put that one in there.
We'll put it together. Those 2 words.
And fiercely independent. I like that one. What Peter comes out. I like that one.
I mean, if I was asked to describe her, I would say they are fantastically, fiercely independent. But I'm a salesman.
I like the fiercely independent.
But that come through the fiercely independent. It's one of the things he said. Well, when I walked in, we were chatting away, and he said, we're proud of who we are.
I'm very proud
really
of being an independent merchant.
Good.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Yeah, I've got one more question actually.
Over to you.
The last question is: do you have a key memory in your career that you would like to share?
I think the highlight. I've got a lot of...
you shouldn't say the podcast. Well done, mate.
Yeah. I've got a lot of key memories, as in stages of as you progress.
Yeah.
Probably one would be when we moved from the small unit and yard to Laker Road, where we are now. In terms of when I walked in and the yard was empty, I thought to myself, bloody hell, how have I managed to get a place like this big? I know it sounds really, really silly, but I started off in you got to think in a small DIY hardware shop. And when we got the keys to that place, and there was nothing in there, we started putting racking up. So obviously it looks a bit bigger, but I really sort of was proud of myself that we've managed to, in a short space of time, get to a big yard with a big unit. The other one was when we took the rest of the yard on, when because we had our neighbours who were an insulation company, when they moved out, and we took that on. The same kind of thing, the progression. To probably culminate all the years of hard work would probably be when we joined MBG last year. We joined coming up to a year next year, which will be November. So I'll put it in a snippet. MBG is probably one of the bigger buying groups for independent builders merchants in the country. And we was in a smaller group before that, IBC buying group, who we were with for about 15, 16 years. It just come to a stage of that commercially we'd grown and we needed to better ourselves and better buying. So it was just literally a progression through that. You know, MBG was a bigger group, and we felt that it was a time for us to change. Now, MBG's not kind of a group that you just ring up and say, "Hi, Mr. MBG, can I join?" You know, there's a lot of what goes into it. They come down, they come and look at us as a company, our financials, who we are. They speak to our client base. So. And going through all of them stages and then finally being accepted by MBG was probably, for me, at the moment, the cherry on the cake of that we are at that calibre as a business and an organisation to be accepted into a big group like MBG.
It's almost like you've arrived.
I've never been one for recognition, because if you spend your whole life waiting for people to recognise you, you've got to. I've always been like, I want to do things on my own, but it was a real nice touch. And, this was another shout out to everyone at MBG, because they're a great bunch of people. It's been fantastic working with them. We're looking forward to, I'm still a new boy on the block, so 1 year next month, it'll be our first year anniversary. They're a great organisation. All the members and all the guys at head office, they're fantastically great. And there's one little difference with MBG, which I want to just point out while we're talking about it. So MBG is also run by the members. So the members do the buying, the members make the decisions, the members have the votes. So it's a very, very great organisation that, we're split into all different categories, and in them categories we all go and do our buying essentially for the group. So I sit on the CMT for civils and landscaping. So not my team, but our team will, do all the deals for all the civils products, all the landscaping products for all the other members, and so on and so on and so on. It's split up like that, and it's. I haven't got enough time to talk about it because there's loads that goes into it, but it's a fantastic thing because we are then doing our best for our business and all the other members as well. So it's very unique and it's fantastic.
Thanks to Charlotte, and look, you got to surround yourself with talented people. She's gone to uni. Yes. We're here, Cole. We're going to talk about my specialist subject. We're going to talk about football and your football team. I'll bring it to life by saying a few simple words. You'll never walk alone.
Yes, mate.
So let's talk about why, how. Talk to me about it.
Well,
mate.
You're going to think, I always get this question because I think, how come you've got a Southerner who supports Liverpool?
But everyone did about our age, didn't they?
They did, mate. Yeah, I think. Look, I've got a lot of
in the 80s and early 90s, mate.
I've got a lot of my mates. We're mainly in my friend circle, Liverpool, United, or Arsenal. So you can imagine our group banter at a weekend is fantastic. But I had when I was younger, I've got a lot of family in Birmingham, so my older cousins they were a lot older than me, so we used to go up there in the summer holidays and stuff like that, and they were massive Liverpool fans, massive. They used to go to all the games, and so I think we used to go there in the summer holidays, and I think I got made to sit there and watch Liverpool, and I don't think I was allowed to support anyone else, to be honest with you. So it sort of stemmed from there. We've got our local team as well, which is Gillingham FC, who we do actually sponsor as well. They're only in the Division 2, but they're a good local club as well. So I still keep an eye on the Gills as well, and Payless actually we've got we do a bit of advertising with Gill. So when you go to watch the game at the weekend on the digital boards, you'll see our Payless Builders Merchants logo come round, and we try and do a lot as much as we can local as well. Gillingham's is a big local team, and we've got a lot of the builders, a lot of our customers who support Gills as well. So it's nice to sort of give back and do a bit of advertising at our actual local club as well, which I think's a nice touch as well.
No, it is, mate. So on that Liverpool journey, mate. So who's your all-time favourite player in a Liverpool shirt?
Do you know what? I've always been a big fan of Alonso. For me, it's always been a good one. Yeah. Obviously, look, you've always got the greats like King Kenny and Rush and all the rest of it. But I've always been a big Alonso fan. Always.
So it was a weird summer that summer when they let him and Mascherano go together. I mean, that was an unusual thing to do to your midfield.
You're never going to have another Stevie G, and obviously, look, Stevie G will always be immortalised. As a Liverpool fan, especially in my age group. Gerrard was fantastic. Do you know what I mean? But I always had an admiration for Alonso. I just thought he was a fantastic player.
He's turning into a very good coach as well.
Very good. And I think one day, you never know. He might become a Liverpool manager one day. You never know. Although we've got a fantastic manager at the moment in Arne Slot. I think he's done a fantastic job. Come in first season and won us the title. But he inherited a good team from Klopp, and you've got to give Jurgen Klopp a shout. What a man! What a manager! What a human being!
Yeah, I think that's power of personality as well, and it transpires in everything he did.
Do you know, we spoke about it a minute ago, and I know we're talking about football, but we spoke about personalities and people, and I just think that man could inspire wallpaper.
I used to love right when he used to and I watched him do it at Craven Cottage. I used to love when he'd stand there and watch the other players warm up.
Yeah,
he'd just smile at them and watch them. And I just think no, I'm not seeing another gaffer do that. Yeah. So it was interesting. But I always judge people like, would I play for them? Would he be able to motivate me? And I've got no doubt he absolutely would.
I honestly think, and I know I just.
Do you think he'll come back to football?
You know what? There was an interview the other day, and I can't remember what it was on because
he loves playing a bit of paddle.
I was just scrolling a bit of social media, and I come off of it, and he was doing an interview, and they was interviewing him, and they said, Jurgen, you've always said that you wouldn't come back, and he's always said he wouldn't come back and manage another team in the Prem, which is nice of him, and he was being a bit cryptic with it. So I think you never know, but is he a great manager? He was a great manager, but I'm always one to think, look, we've got to think about the present manager and what he's doing for us, and I think we'll do well. Look, we've had a little bit of a blip over the last few games. We had a fantastic result in the week, which I think hopefully will give us our confidence back, and we've got Brentford on Saturday, so hopefully we can sort of bounce back. Big changes for us, and it does make me laugh. Football's a bit of a fickle one, isn't it? Oh, Liverpool this, Liverpool that. We've just brought a lot of new players, come from different leagues, and you can't expect people to just be dropped into a team and then just all of a sudden be this fantastic player. It takes time to gel. The Premiership's different as well, but I think we've got a fantastic team, and once that team starts gelling, I think we're going to be playing some fantastic football. We played good football during the week as well. We probably need to strengthen at the back a little bit, I believe. We've had a few injuries as well, but looking forward to the season. Let's be positive.
You've got to be positive, mate. I've got some. I'll share with you a few of my memories. So me growing up, Fulham were in the lower leagues, right? So they were like the old fourth division. So Liverpool were like there, they were the team. And the very first time I watched us play, we lost 10-0.
Wow.
Yeah, we lost 10-0. It was in like the Milk Cup, and it was Liverpool 10, Fulham 0. That weren't too good. Second time I watched us play, it was a two-leg game. It was in the same cup, and we lost 3-1 at home. But a young Robbie Fowler made his debut. At 17 years of age, he come off the bench and scored 2 goals. Yeah. So we were 3-1 down, and we said, we'll go up to Anfield. I was only about 16, 17. And we went up to Anfield for the away leg, obviously and knowing we're going to get battered. Yeah. Same young Robbie Fowler scored all 5 when we lost 5-0. Right, so since then, we didn't play him again forever because we weren't in the same league. Then I've seen us draw at Anfield, get last-minute equalisers, save penalties to get a point, but I've never seen us win at Anfield. Yeah. The only time we have won was in the COVID years. Yeah. But I have seen us beat Liverpool at the Cottage, so we don't do it often, mate.
No, I've been to Craven Cottage once, and I think it was an FA Cup game. And
it's a great ground, isn't it, mate?
You know what? I actually really liked it. It's small, isn't it? But you can see the atmosphere was great because, and I think it was an FA Cup game. Don't hold me to it. And I think it was. I think Risa scored the winner. I think it was 4-1 or 4-2.
He come and play for us.
Yeah, it was after that. But it was I'm pretty sure it was an FA Cup game. It was. Yeah.
But it's interesting because I've always I just grew up with Liverpool being the best team in the country, and it didn't really bother me because we weren't playing them. But it'll be because Klopp was special.
Very special.
He was very special, and I think he had a way of motivating and protecting the players.
Definitely.
So it is what it is. But I think all the times I've been up there, if we escape with a draw, I'm happy with that. Yeah. If we make a game of it, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, different. I think with us as well. Look, I think another big factor what people have sort of, and it's not an excuse or anything like that. The players have lost a big player in the dressing room. Jota, what happened with Jota, obviously everyone knows, and his brother, very, very sad.
And you had the terrible scenes at the trophy parade, didn't you,
exactly.
As well?
We had that as well, that guy ramming into people. But I think for them group of players, who almost like family all day, every day, and it turns into a bit of a brothership, doesn't it? A brotherhood, and all of a sudden, you win the Premier League, you go away for your summer holidays, and before you're all meant to come back, one of your big players loses his life in such a tragic way, and I think there's a little bit of that. I think they're missing him, and I think he's probably on their mind quite a lot. I'm not again making excuses that we've lost a few games because of that, but I think Salah was very, very close.
I think he'd be safe from relegation, mate.
Yeah, I think
it'd be all right. I don't think you've got to be looking over your shoulder.
But fantastic player was Jota, and I feel like I've got to talk about him. Not only because he's not here anymore, but what a fantastic human being and what a fantastic player. And
fair play to you,
he'll always be have a big place in the fans' hearts, I think. So R.I.P. to Jota.
Fair play, mate. What a lovely way to win that section. So, we're going to have a bit of lunch.
No problem.
Later on, mate. We're going to have a bit of lunch after this. We're going to go to the marina, in Brighton Marina, just around the corner. We're going to go there. But it's just me and you today for lunch.
No problem.
But if we could, and we're asking all of our guests, if we could have 3 people, you can have Jota if you want, you know what I mean? But if you could have 3 dinner guests, who would you, past, present, from history?
Do you know what? I'll have to start with a Liverpool player, so I'd probably say I'd say Gerrard. I'd like to have
Stevie G. So Stevie G's coming.
Even though I said Alonso is one of my greatest players, but I'd love to sit with Gerrard and have a pint.
So Stevie G's going to have a beer with us.
Yeah, because he's Mr. Liverpool through and through, and I think it'd be a great dinner guest.
Yeah.
The other one, as you know, I'm a big boxing man. Everyone's got. I know we've got the greats like Muhammad Ali and all the rest of them, but for me. For one of my favourite fighters was always been Oscar De La Hoya. Doesn't get probably as much credit as what he's deserved, but multiple weight champion. I thought his style of boxing was one what I really, really admired. Fought at a similar weight as him when I was young, 71 kilos, light middleweight, and he was sort of a light middleweight, welterweight, went up to middleweight as well. But Oscar,
he was one of them fighters who didn't get hit as well.
He was fantastic. I watched a lot of his stuff when I was boxing, and I just loved Oscar's style. The story, he's a bit bonkers these days, bless him, but fair play to him. So that would be one.
So we got Stevie G, we got Oscar De La Hoya. Who else we having?
Oh, who else?
Who's going to bring it? Who's going to wrap it up?
Oh, I'm stuck for a third.
Don't worry, mate. Don't worry. We can just have the 2.
I'm a little bit on the spot with a third one, to be honest with you. Sorry.
That's all right. We'll bring Kenny Dalglish.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll bring King Kenny. We'll bring King Kenny in. Charlie, you'll edit that a little bit slower for us, won't you?
Yeah, I'm not normally lost for words, but you got me on that one.
Oh, mate, that's all right. So, what we're going to have King Kenny. Yeah. We're going to have Oscar De La Hoya, and we're going to have Stevie G. So it's quite a Liverpool boxing theme here, mate. Isn't it? We'll do it in a sports bar. We'll have a few beers and we'll make it work.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, would you add to that mix, or are you happy with that?
I think that sounds like a good plan to me.
Yeah, I was going to say some supermodel, but I probably would have got shot when I get home. So I'll stick with them 3.
Yeah, we'll keep it on the football pitch and on the boxing ring, mate. So no, absolutely super. Carl, it's been brilliant, mate, because I think that I worry about the builders merchant industry, because I think in my time in it was full, and I'm still supporting it, and I have been doing it for so many years, and I love it, but it was so full of personality.
It was.
And that's what we spoke about when we met, when I met you, Ram, and it's saying, it worries me now that some of the people I meet and I see, the spark's not there, the passion not there, and I always think, why has that been kicked out of them? Why are we not up for it? Why is it not there? So if we're talking about, building on success and just bringing the podcast kind of to a natural conclusion, what would you say, mate, to people that are thinking of joining this industry? What's in it for them?
That's actually a great question, and I think you know, for me, I suppose a slightly different thing with me is I've been brought up around it, so it's, you know, as you can, it's in my blood, if you say, but that doesn't always like happen. Of course, there's some good independents who have been in. There's some great independents who are like in their 50th, 60th year and are on their third or fourth generation of family what's like still running it, but that's very far and few between. But I think the biggest thing the industry needs is we need to bring the youngsters into the industry. We need to bring them in. We need to show them how much of a fantastic industry there is. There's so much going on in this industry just outside of the day-to-day running of a merchant. You know, there's, you know, we touched on it.
It's really hard to explain it though, isn't it? Like,
It's
people
very
say,
hard.
Oh, you just sell this. And I'm like, no, you don't get it.
You know, just to name a few organisations, the BMF, they are fantastic. They're doing a lot of work with apprenticeships. We're members of the BMF as well. NMBS as well. You know, we mentioned it downstairs.
Yeah.
You know, MBG are great as well. You know, but, you know, we need to bring the younger generation through. The spark for people who are running business, you know, builders, merchants at the moment, especially independents, you know, it's tough. It's not an easy industry. It's a very, very. It can be stressful. You know, we've got a lot of staff to run. We've got a lot of lorries to run. We've got a lot of plates to juggle, and you know, a lot of that again, the stresses and strains from it ain't always from us as a business. It's the constraints, and again, going back to the climate that we're in, and you know, all businesses, I think, you know, bottom line's been hit massively as well. But I think we need to, you know, put that injection into getting the younger generation. But without the younger generation coming through, it's going to be hard for, you know.
We did a whole series, didn't we, Charlie, called Stars of the Future?
Yes.
You know, and we were really just, you know, and we were just talking about how people's careers have been shaped and how many opportunities there are. Not just within your site as an independent merchant, but within the industries that supply it. You know, our previous guests, you know, they are supplying a service to the industry.
Oh, 100%.
And they're bringing something different there. But I think that's what I want to see is that passion replicated. And I want to look around a room where it's a bit more diverse and it's a bit more younger and it's a bit more fresh, mate. You know,
but you might agree with me as well. It's like you can't teach them passion, can you?
No, that is true.
It's like you've got to be like, look, we've had a little bit of banter about football. It comes from a place of passion. You know, you've got to be passionate about something, and not everyone goes to work every day feeling passion. Some people are just doing it because, I've got to go to work. You guys, you can see around the room when I've walked in, everyone's passionate about it. It's getting that passion. I've actually got my nephew Harvey working for me, so that's going to be like third generation for us. And you know, even when Harvey joined, I said, look, I learned from your granddad, but I learned if I weren't doing something right, I'd get a clip round the ear hole, like old school. Do you know what I mean? And we just picked it up as we went along. But I again, talking about the BMF, when Harvey come on board with the business, I said to him, I want you to be better than me, and I want you to, you know, learn business, you know, better than me. So we put him on a BMF apprentice course, which he's still doing. So he's doing a business management one, which we've paid for, but we want him to, you know, learn all aspects of the business and be better than myself and be better than Ram, you know, and hopefully, you know, if the business continues to thrive and continues to carry on, he might be the next one of, you know, in our family to take the business forward. Mine and Ram's kids are still a little bit young at the moment, so, you know, we sort of focus on the kids. We want them to have a good education and make their own way in the world, but hopefully the business is still there if one of them wanted to come into it later in life. But you know, that's a long way away. But
it's brilliant that you're talking about the generations continuing.
Of course.
And actually, I think that the builders merchant industry for me, and I say this story so much, it gave me everything. I had
100%.
A couple of episodes ago, we had like someone who I still call boss, Mark Tanner.
Yeah,
like, you know, Mark,
I'll see that one. Yeah.
So like, but Mark gave me a chance. Like, I was a young kid from a council estate in Fulham, and he believed in me and gave me a rep's job, and you know, but also encouraged me to. And there's a couple of, and I look back at it and I think like I didn't even. But the funny thing is, when I went with a job in a builder's merchant, Charlie's saying like, you know, we're at the stoppage time now, calling this, but I'll just end it with this. When I went into a builder's merchant, I didn't even know what one was, right? Yeah. And I've learned to love this industry. You today, Cole, have been someone who exudes passion from when you've walked in. Yeah. It's It's actually been a pleasure to have you in the studio. I'm so glad you come down. I can't wait to buy you lunch. But I want to end the show by saying thank you because what you've done as well as coming today, you've actually been good enough to introduce me to a few other people, that's built relationships for me and my business, and that's why. That's what this industry's all about. It's supporting each other, isn't it? It is.
I know we've got to go, but that is probably one of the highlights of the industry as well. That we are very close knit, and everyone wants to help each other, and we should all help each other and carry on and try and all be successful in our own businesses.
Been an absolute pleasure, Cole.
Thank you very much, guys.
Mate.
Thank you.
Absolute legend.
Cheers. Thank you.
Right. What a great episode. Thanks again to our sponsor, David Blitz. That was the end of episode 5 of season 9 of the Foyne Jones Show. We're building on success with Cole of Payless Builders Merchants. I know you're going to enjoy that episode. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening.